Hi everybody, my name is Jennifer. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to do a video tonight and touch on something that I'm asked sometimes. I'm asked if two narcissists can come together and make a relationship work. Is that the type of person that a narcissist needs to be with, is another narcissist? And I want to say that I have a little bit I could talk about. So I love, there's a movie that I absolutely love. It's called Gone with the Wind. I have a magazine right here. We have Rhett Butler and Scarlett OHara. Oh my goodness, I love this movie. I could watch it over and over and over again, and it's a really long movie, and I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but it really is a good movie, and there are some funny parts in it as well. But I believe anyway that Rhett Butler and Scarlett OHara both have highly narcissistic traits. I kind of want to, there was a part of me that wanted to think that Scarlett OHara had some borderline personality disorder traits as well, if not maybe borderline personality disorder. I am not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, so I cannot diagnose anyone, but I can recognize traits. And I definitely know that the two of these had high narcissistic traits. And as much as I love the movie, it does have things that I talk about in it, and I do tend to fantasize about true romance. And I honestly wish that the two of these could have worked it out, even though it was just a movie. So Scarlett OHara definitely had her high narcissistic traits, and she wanted what she wanted, and she went after what she wanted. No matter what, at what cost, she went after it, and she recognized good in people, and she did put herself around good people, but she pretended to be good, but really she had so many narcissistic traits that she would pull on the heartstrings of others, and she would manipulate to get her way. And I remember different parts, like I remember in the beginning of the movie, I believe it was somewhere around the beginning, and she was trying to make this man, that his name was Ashley, and she was really, really in love, well, she thought she was in love with him, and she wanted him. She wanted him to adore her and pay attention to her, and he did adore her, but she wanted him to love her, and so she tried to make him jealous with other men who adored her. She was absolutely beautiful, and I mean stunningly beautiful. And so all the men adored her and were around her, and she just couldn't understand why this man that she truly wanted didn't want anything to do with her. Now, I have watched this movie a million times, and I have to say, I honestly think that Ashley too had high narcissistic traits. And I do believe that he really adored Scarlett because she adored him. But the person that he really wanted to be with was, I think her name was Melanie, I should know. Melanie, is that her name, Melanie? You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But he wanted her. She was so empathic. She loved everybody. You could do no wrong in her eyes. And if you did, she forgave you, and she gave excuses for you. She made every excuse in the world. And she was just the most loving person, would do anything for anyone, give up anything for anyone. And he loved those traits about her, and that's who he chose to be with, even though he was attracted to Scarlett. And one of the things I didn't like about Ashley is that he did kind of breadcrumb her by giving her attention and making her believe that he was attracted to her, because I mean, he was, and he gave her these little sprinkles that I've talked about that kept her hanging on with hope that one day he would choose her. And she there was a part of her that really could not stand, I believe her name was Melanie. Well, let's just call her Melanie. Couldn't stand her. It's like, I hate you because he wants you, and why do you have to be so damn good all the time? And so she just, but then there was this other part of her as well who also was attracted to her bright light. And so she put herself around her. And she knew that it was good to do that because people really did admire and respect this Melanie woman. And Scarlett wanted to be respected as well. And so then now we have our character, Rhett Butler, who I just adored in the movie. Of course I did. He had his nastiness to him. He never really outwardly showed this horribly bad. I mean, he was a womanizer, and he, you definitely could see that when he was at the, basically the whorehouse and that kind of thing. But he was so charming, and we just love that. People like me, who have been in these types of relationships, we are drawn to that in them. They have this charm about them. They know exactly what to say and do to get exactly what they need. So here we have Rhett who is doing that. And of course we had Scarlett who was doing that. Now Rhett sees that she is crazy about Ashley, and he just thinks that's hilarious because he sees him as better than Ashley. And he believes that he's the one that's going to win her over. So he sees her as a challenge, and he challenges her. And there's a part of her that can't stand him because of that. She can see in him her, and she can't stand it. But there's also this vulnerable side of her too that knows when she needs him. And she knows that he'll come to her because he wants to win her over. And she uses that to her advantage in this movie. So whenever she needs something, it's Rhett she goes to because she knows that he will come running to her. And unfortunately, Ashley's not going to be the one that does that. In her mind, she has this magical thinking that she believes that he loves her and that he's going to come to her. And there's a scene where he comes back from the war, and she is the one who sees him first. Of course she is. She sees him and she's like, oh, it's Ashley. And she wants to run to him, but she recognizes that there's this moment where in this magical thinking that she's the one, and she wants to run after him. But then she recognizes, oh no, and she has to stand back, and she realizes that it's Melanie that is the one that he wants, and she's so jealous and she wants it so bad. This makes her really sad. And she has a lot, she ends up having a lot of responsibility on her, and so she does need people to help her. She needs to do some things to basically help take care of her, but in doing that, the extensions of her, which is her family. And so she needs to buck up and be the one that takes care of things. And she's used to kind of manipulating everybody else into doing everything, and now it's all on her. I was proud of her. She did come to the table, and she did what she had to do to get things taken care of for her family. And this is something that I have said that I think is kind of admirable when it comes to people who have high narcissistic traits. I admire that in a narcissist, that they can make shit happen. Like there's this almost no fear. They can, and if there is, they can somehow compartmentalize that fear to do what they need to do. And where other people could be so frightened that the fear takes over and nothing happens. And so that's why I think we see a lot of people who are running companies or running our country or our governments, things like that, they have the higher narcissistic traits because they are able to compartmentalize like that. And so you can see throughout the movie some of this compartmentalization. Rhett Butler, he does end up winning Miss Scarlett OHara, and it goes, you know, he knows what she wants, so he gives it to her. And this satisfies him in the moment. It gives him, you know, hey, I won, you know, she likes that I give her these things, she's beautiful, everybody sees that I'm this beautiful woman, you know, that type of thing. But really, they don't make each other happy. They cannot give each other what they need, because they both need the same thing, which is constant attention. And unfortunately, when you are in a relationship with a narcissistic person, although they are quite charming, they can have lots of things that you can be quite attracted to them for. They get bored easily. And I don't care how pretty you are. I don't care how great you are in the bed. I don't care what traits you have. If you're the best person on the planet, you're going to bore them. They're going to get bored with you because you're predictable, and they need contrast. And so they need to devalue you and then bring you back, and devalue and bring you back, just to have that contrast. And they need to have other people in play so that they have that contrast as well. So sometimes, you know, you hear people all the time will say, I don't understand why he left me for her. She's so ugly, or he's so ugly, or whatever. I can't imagine that they would have wanted them. It doesn't matter what a person looks like. And that's where you have to stop thinking like yourself and think like the narcissist. The narcissist doesn't give a shit what somebody looks like. They care about what that person can give them. And it's whatever those needs are that they need in the moment. And I know that's difficult, but that's just the way it is. And so even in the movie, if you've ever watched Gone with the Wind, there is a time where Scarlett OHara marries someone. She doesn't love him. She marries him. He has money. She needs money. He actually was, her sister was the one that was, I think, dating him, and he liked her, but everybody really was attracted to Scarlett. So Scarlett knew that she could steal him, and she did. She didn't care that she was going to hurt her sister. She knew that she could get what she needed out of him, and what she needed was the money. And so she did what she needed to. And when he died at war, and she's supposed to be mourning and wearing this black dress, because I believe back then you had to wear a black dress for like a year. And she was like, ugh, yeah, this is horrible that I have to wear this hideous black dress, which actually she looked quite beautiful in. But she was like, I have to wear this and mourn, and I can't have any fun. I want to dance. I want to sing. And actually, I do kind of think this part is a little bit funny. There's a part where there's like this... It's like a party, and they're raising money for the people, I believe, you know, because of the war and everything. And she's not supposed to dance, and there's dancing, and all she wants to do is dance. She's watching everybody have so much fun. And so she's standing behind like this table. And I remember there's a part where they come around and they're taking charity, and somebody goes, oh, take my wedding ring and, you know, put it in for them to raise money or get money, you know, to help out. And Scarlett was like, oh yes, take mine too, because she could care less about wearing this ring, and she just wants to be done. Like, I can't believe I have to mourn some guy I didn't even love. And up underneath the table, she's dancing with her feet. I really thought that was kind of funny. I mean, it is a movie, and I did think it was funny, but really it's not. Like, in real life, that would be absolutely horrible, because you would want somebody to have loved their husband, for crying out loud, and not marry them just for money. But a narcissistic person would do that. They would do it, and because that's what they needed in the moment. I need the money right now. I don't care who I'm going to hurt in the moment, and this is what we're going to do. And, you know, so she really didn't love him, and she didn't want to mourn him either. But she knew that it would make her look bad, that if she didn't. But I believe she did end up dancing, and everybody was like, oh, you know, she's up there dancing, and it was just horrible that Scarlett was doing that. But I do love that movie. I think it's a great movie, but it does give us an example of what it's like for two narcissists to get together. These two narcissists came together. He was so full of himself, and so was she. I found him to be quite charming and a dapper man, and I found her to be absolutely gorgeous. And there were some things that were quite charming about her as well. It's just that the two of them needed that narcissistic supply continuously, and the two of them couldn't give it to each other in the way that they needed. And in the end, he doesn't give a damn. And so he leaves, and she just cannot believe that he's left. He's left her. I can't believe he left me, because she was so used to him adoring her, and he did. And it was a really good movie, so if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a really long movie, but it's excellent. So can two narcissists come together and have a relationship? Absolutely. Will it last long? It can, depending on what the two need and what they want. Sometimes they have the same goal, and as long as they have those goals and they're working towards those goals, and it holds up a facade that they need, sure, it can work for a while, but forever, no. There'll be a lot of sparks and fireworks going on, that's for sure. Probably a lot of cheating by both parties and that kind of thing. So anyway, I hope that answers some questions for some people. I know that I get asked that all of the time. Remember that we all have narcissistic traits, and it's a spectrum that, and you have to have 5 or more on the scale of narcissistic traits, and I do have a video that talks about those traits. And yeah, a narcissist unfortunately doesn't feel real love, but they do feel infatuation, and when they're infatuated with you, it does feel magical, but later it feels like your worst nightmare. So if you recognize the traits, it's best to move on. It really is. And yeah, they're not gonna like it, but it's best for you. Until next time, bye.